This is Liz.
This is Jade.
And this is Carly.
And we're the Babes. We're covering all things babies, parenting, and women's issues. Join us in all of our TMI Girl Chats. And when a topic needs an expert, we promise to bring you the best.
Our podcast is an inclusive, no judgment zone. No mommy shaming here. We're diving into the nitty-gritty of real life as we get honest about the highs and the lows of motherhood.
If you hear a baby or a husband crying in the background during this episode, it probably means we just corked a bottle of wine and are hiding inside our closets. Oh, you too? Well, this is episode 22. Welcome to
Babes and Babies.
You guys, I can't not hear Evan and Tanner reading that now. Like, in my brain, like, and I giggle every single time. I mean, we've only done it 2 more times after that, but I giggled both times.
It's so
because
good.
They're ridiculous.
They're so ridiculous. This is so funny.
I just like how they were trying to be so professional. Like, they were talking very, like, did it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they were on beat.
Maybe we should act more professional during our intro. Like they did. Whoops. Our bad.
Whatever.
How are you girls doing?
Good. Jade, do you want to introduce our guest real quick?
Oh, yeah. So we're having, I don't know how to pronounce Maya's last name. I'm going to have to ask her. Maya Vorderstrasse, I think is how you say it. But she kind of has become this Instagram sensation. She is a mom of Irish twin girls. And she started these really cool, like, message boards on her Instagram, just representing, like, you know, she's like, I just didn't want to be this perfect mom on Instagram. So she started making these hilarious message boards. And she's just somebody that's fun to follow on Instagram. She has a really great story, so she's going to be sharing that with us today.
It's so funny because after she started doing that, like, everybody did the message board thing, which is so cute, and everyone should copy because copying is a form of flattery. But it's really funny.
Yeah, no, totally. Even I have a message board for Emerson's Milestones.
Oh, yes, the Milestones, Jade.
Let's talk about that for a minute here.
Yeah.
So Jade and I have been talking a lot about milestones lately. And wait, what do you call it? The comparison. The what?
Yeah, competitive comparing mommy wars when it comes to milestones for your little babies.
So dumb and makes me super irritated and angry.
Yeah.
Well, I get it in a way because, like, it's okay to have pride about what your baby's doing. Like, so Bella just recently rolled over, and I'm sure that just made your heart just, like, explode, right? Like, you're just beaming.
Although she did it that one day and hasn't done it again. Dang it.
But it's just, like, so funny because it's okay to feel that way, but it's then when you, like, meet up with your friends who have a baby who's maybe, like, similar in age, or they have more kids, and they're just like, oh, well, my child started walking at 7 months, and you're like, what?
You're like, yeah.
What? And so it just becomes, like, this thing, so it's just funny how it's so hard not to go there in your mind and compare your child and then feel bad, because I know, Carly, you said you had an experience earlier where you were, like, feeling bad because Bella wasn't doing something that another baby was doing. And yeah,
there was a baby, one of my friend's babies, who rolled over at 12 weeks. And I was like, man, Bella hasn't rolled over yet. And I was, like, so sad about it. And then I thought to myself, this is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, Bella in her time will do the things that she needs to do. I mean, and it's just such a strange thing, because I think as humans, we compare ourselves to other women, and now we're putting that on our kids, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, they were saying in that article that a lot of times, though, the milestone comparison starts at the very first, like, pediatric appointment, right? When they're giving you all the percentiles of your kid and where they should be and all these different things. And it's like, they're going to develop, like, at their own, like, make sure, are they healthy? Right. Cool. Like, you know, that's what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then you think, like, so for me, Emerson was born 4 weeks early. And so some of her milestones, she's developmentally on time, and some of them she hasn't been. And so it's just, like, so frustrating to not compare, or not when you go to the pediatrician and they're like, is she waving yet? Which she is, but like just an example. But, you know, and stuff like that where you're like, oh my God, like, is there something wrong with my baby? It's just, it's so hard. And those percentages, like the weight and all those things. Oh my gosh,
that
like,
stresses me out so bad.
It's so hard to not like.
Though.
I know. It's really hard to not freak out. Like, last time we went in, Bella's percentage for weight was really low, and her percentage of head circumference was really big, which is why she looks like a straight up baby doll, because I think she has like proportions of one. But, you know, I was freaking out because I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a low percentage. Like, what should I be doing? And the doctor's like, she's fine. I think she's just a small boned baby. You're small. She's just small. And I'm like,
right.
Okay. But, you know, you go in there and you see these like percentages on these waves that they show you on their computer, and it just totally freaks me out.
Mm-hmm. Right. So then the whole week after, you're like constantly like thinking about like, am I feeding her enough? How do I make her fat? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's so crazy. Also, speaking of making Bella fat, so we started her on solids. She hates fruit, hates it. Like, it's too sweet. She won't eat it. She just spits it out. But she loves sweet potato, avocado, and peas. Isn't that so weird? Is this a thing?
That is weird.
I don't know. Sounds
maybe
good.
I'm like, we really like vegetables. But also, now since we started solid, she's having bad gas, and it's causing her to not sleep. And she's like definitely not pooping as much as she used to. So it's just like, I know that it'll get better, and I don't want to take her off solids because people don't, you know, drink milk their whole lives. So it's just something you have to do. But it's really sad because now I'm really delusional today, because for the past couple nights, like she's having gas and she just doesn't want to sleep. And all of a sudden you just see her legs go up in the air because she pulls her legs up to get gas out.
Aww.
Yeah. And so I'll just like lean over and look over, and then her legs are up in the air. Like, she's like a yogi.
There's actually this like little pressure point on the bottom of their backs, like above their butt. If you like massage it, like almost like that little, like, you know, where we have like, where some people have like a dimpled, and there's like almost like that lower patch, like right in there. Also, if you have echinacea oil, like you can put 1 drop, but dilute it a lot with coconut oil and like massage it in there. And that helps with gas and the poopies.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to do that. Poor Bella. It's so sad.
I know. Poor baby.
But so if I say anything that doesn't make any sense, it's because I feel like she's just been born again, and I'm in that state of tiredness that I was in then.
Delirium.
Yes. I'm living in a cloud.
Well, not to compare our mornings, Carly, but Emerson and Tanner both are still sleeping this morning,
amazing.
Which is like, Tanner sleeps in on Sundays, but it's unheard of Emerson to sleep in. So I've had an hour of like alone time this morning, and I felt like, you know, like where it's like cue the like happy movie, like montage music.
Oh, yes.
That was like me like skipping around the kitchen this morning.
Oh
and, like,
my gosh, that's
coffee.
so fun.
I had my coffee on the patio just myself. It was like, I know. Well, I am.
Did you have it in one of your pod chairs?
I did. It's amazing.
I can't wait to sit in that one day. I like dream about it. I want a pod chair.
They are very cool.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Ours sit higher. Is my husband yelling for me?
Oh no. If you hear your husband crying or yelling in the background.
See, these are real life situations.
These are real life situations. It's probably because Emmy woke up and Tanner was like, Jade, what do I do?
Okay, maybe it was just a phantom yell.
Oh, man.
Oh, weird. Maybe you're just...
I was going to ask you guys I think that with the whole like competitive milestones thing, how do you say it to not be competitive? Like, Carly, if someone's like, oh, my baby rolled over at 12 weeks, would you automatically start to compare? Or is there a way to be able to like kind of brag about your baby and be proud, but not be like, oh, is your kid doing this?
I think maybe just don't say the weeks. Like, maybe just be like, oh, my baby rolled over. And, oh, that's amazing. You know?
Right.
It's so hard. I was telling Jade, with social media, like, it's so hard to not compare because there's so many videos out there of people, you know, posting their babies crawling or walking or talking or, you know, waving or doing all these things. And then it'll be like, oh my God, my baby did this at this many weeks. So maybe if we just stop saying like the weeks, that would help us out.
I also think it's just like if someone says like, say like you were like, oh, Bella rolled over, you know, and we know, like, I know she's obviously 4.5 months old, then I should just be happy for Bella. I shouldn't be like, oh yeah, Emerson totally did that at 3 months.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
It's like that. And then the one pet peeve one I have, which you guys know about this, is the one where people are, when I literally had a stranger who was Tanner's friend who we had seen in the grocery store who I'd never met before talk about his 10-month-old baby. And I think Emerson was like 7 or 8 at the time, looked at me and he goes, is she sleeping through the night? Ugh. And I'm like, why is that like the standard of your baby?
That drives me nuts.
Yeah. I mean, is she like a freaking Olympian baby if she's sleeping through the night? Like, what makes it so great? Mm-hmm. And maybe it's just that like, oh, like I feel for you because you're now finally getting that sleep, you know, and I know how hard it is, but it also makes me feel like, my child will sleep when my child will sleep.
Yeah.
You know, like
we're figuring it out.
You know, it's so funny, Jade, because that same friend whose baby rolled over at 12 weeks, if you're listening, I'm just jealous of your baby is what I'm saying.
You.
But her baby also sleeps through the night. Oh. Like, what in the world? This baby is like a Martian.
Right.
Like,
but then you
it's
like
amazing. I know. And no, it's so bad.
So it's like,
but I'm also like so happy for them.
Right. That's kind of where you have to go.
That would be nice to sleep. You know.
But I don't mind. I don't know. I'm at the point where I don't mind getting up. And Emerson only usually wakes up once in the night now, so I can't really like speak for people whose babies get up several times in the night. But I don't mind getting up once in the night and having my time with her.
Yeah.
I've gotten used to it. I will miss it when she doesn't.
Yeah. Bella gets up like twice now, usually, and then eats and goes right back to sleep. But it's just been lately, it's just gas and like her stomach hurts. And so she just doesn't go back to sleep as fast. It like takes a while of like cuddling and stroking and talking to her and, you know, to like get her calm enough to even go down.
Gosh, babies go through so much. Think about like she's never had real food in her life and now her body's like trying to adjust. Like they go through so much.
So crazy. It's so funny too because I love avocados so much and Evan and like the boys hate avocado.
I don't understand people who hate avocado. It doesn't make sense
they
to
don't
me.
They don't like the texture. They think the texture is super gross. And it's so funny because you can tell it like really irritates them that she likes it.
She likes it?
Yeah, because they're like, ugh, that's so much more like Carly than us.
That's so funny.
It's so funny. Another comparison. But it is really funny. Because avocado is the one food that if you give it to her, like she doesn't make a bad face or anything. She'll just eat it. Like peas, she's still kind of like, okay, these are interesting. Sweet potato, she's like, okay, this has a flavor. But avocado, she just kind of rolls with it. And I'm like, this is her favorite food? You're a genius.
That's so cute.
It's so funny. Oh, she's so cute.
Emerson's favorite food is chicken. She's like obsessed with chicken. Yeah.
Chicken is a delicious food. She's also a genius.
Look at your babies.
Our genius.
Oh my gosh. Seriously though, Bella is starting to make all these really funny noises. Like, I can't stop watching this video. I made this video. I put her on the rocking chair and I was like sitting right in front of it and put these blankets next to her. So she was sitting up. I was like rocking her and all of a sudden she's like, ah. And it was just the funniest noise because it was like she was singing and then she just screamed this loud scream. And that's like her favorite thing to do now is just do these random loud screams. Like she's like, this is my voice and I love it. And it's so funny and it just makes me laugh so much because it's so random.
That's so cute.
Yeah, she's so cute. I can't stand it.
You guys give me the fever.
It's fun. And it is fun. Let's talk positively about Milestones. Milestones are super fun.
They are.
You know, like the rolling over is really fun. The eating solids is really fun. All of those little steps. My mom always told me like, you know, you're going to love her so much more as she grows up because there's so many things that she does and blah, blah, blah. And it's so true. You know, like it's so fun going through all these little steps and learning with them and watching them learn. And It's really cool. Being a mom is cool.
Really, it is the most amazing thing. It really is just like such a miracle to watch a little human grow.
Yeah.
You know, like this thing that was in you for 9 months comes out of your body and it's its own being.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what, and
its
I feel
own
like that's
personality.
one thing. Yeah. And I feel like that's one thing with milestones that maybe we need to recognize is like we're putting all of our own expectations and pressures on an infant.
That's so sad and terrible.
And they're their own human, and they're their own being, and what they do is not a reflection necessarily of us. Yes, like there is the nurture part. If you're probably never giving your baby tummy time, they're probably going to be developmentally delayed.
Yeah,
but we also have to understand that this human just needs to like kind of just be to let them be themselves. Just let them be. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because they will just come into their own, which really is the miracle to watch.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Totally.
I'm in the beautiful mom cloud.
Aww. Yeah. Because you love your baby.
I know. I really do. She's a cutie.
Yeah. She is super cute. Do you guys have any interesting Sunday plans? Carly, you were saying something about Father's Day.
Oh, yeah. So we were out of town for Father's Day. So we're having a Father's Day lunch today. And then all of the boys are going to Jurassic World or something like that. And
yes.
And
Jade loves
leaving
Chris
me out.
Pratt.
He's hot. Remember when he was not hot, and now he's so hot?
She liked him when he wasn't hot.
You liked big, thick Chris Pratt?
I loved fat Chris Pratt.
But he's like way better now. I mean, he was.
Oh my God,
he's super hot now.
He's like one of my top 2 celebrity crushes. But anyways, continue your story.
But what is sad about it is I obviously have a child, so I can't go. So I'm being left out. So yesterday, Evan's like, we're going to go to the movies. Is that okay? And I was like, you do whatever you want. And he was like, don't say it like that. And I'm like, I'm just sad because I'm left out. But it's okay. Bella and I will just watch Queer Eye for the Straight Guy season 2, which is
better.
Way better. Yeah. By the way, have you guys watched it? Because it's so good.
I haven't.
You guys. Oh my God. Have you seen the first one?
No.
What?
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
so obsessed.
I don't know.
Oh no. You don't know. It's
it's
so
the
good.
best TV show out there
It's the best TV show ever because you see these guys who have totally lost confidence, who are like lost in life. And then all of a sudden, these 5 guys come in and totally change their life and give them confidence and put them on like this really great, solid life path. And you watch the change happen, and it is so unbelievably cool.
Oh, that does sound nice.
No, it's like the coolest thing ever. Like,
I honestly didn't even know what it was about. So,
oh my gosh,
that
it's so
good.
cool.
Yeah.
No, it's like this. All of the Fab Five have like their own thing. So there's like a hair person and a culture person and a food person and a interior designer, and they all like do their individual thing to like help this person. It is, I don't know, it's just the greatest. This is the greatest show.
It really is. You will cry.
You will cry
in
every episode.
Oh man! All right, guys, I'll have to watch it. Jade, what are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, there goes my screen. We're going. Sorry, you guys. I have such a like janky setup. We're going to the strawberry patch and picking strawberries.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see pictures of that. Is she wearing a really cute outfit?
I haven't picked one out, but obviously.
But obviously, who do you think I am? That's really fun.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
I don't know about you guys, but audiobooks are my absolute favorite thing. Whenever I'm holding Bella, like it's just so much easier than flipping through a page. And I can listen to any book I like. It's so amazing and so easy when you're sunbathing, hiking, running, road tripping. It's a better way to binge content that I love while doing the things I love, like taking care of Bella. And Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, which lets me fill my summer with so many stories that I love. Jade, what stories do you love?
I mean, we've talked about it before on the podcast, but we all love the book Women Who Run with the Wolves.
Yes.
Can you agree, ladies?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's such a woman empowering book. Audible helps you listen to more books by letting you switch seamlessly between devices, picking up exactly where you left off too. Whether it's on your phone, in your car, from a tablet, or at home, or on Amazon Echo, you can get through tons of books hands-free while doing almost anything like holding your baby.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, you guys, Audible members get a credit every month, good for any audiobook in our store, regardless of price, and unused credits roll over to the next month. And if you didn't like your audiobook, you can exchange it, no questions asked.
Plus, your books are yours to keep. With Audible, you can go back and re-listen anytime to them, even if you cancel your membership. Start a 30-day trial, and your first audiobook is free. So go to audible.com/babes or text babes to 500-500, and you can do it with audiobooks.
All right. Shall we get Maya on?
Yeah, let's get her on.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
You look so cute. You told me you looked like Chucky's bride.
I did, but then my husband took my kids out of the house. I'm like, I have to put makeup just in case because.
No, you look so cute.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so guys for this. This is kind of mind blowing. So thank you very much. This is awesome.
Yeah, I know. I feel so bad because we've been talking about getting you on here forever. And
don't worry about it. I know you guys are busy and I mean, no problem.
Well, we are super excited to have you.
Thank you. Me too. Super.
Yeah. Good.
We absolutely love your Instagram, by the way. It is the funniest, best thing to ever hit Instagram.
It really is.
So much. You know, sometimes I'm so scared of people thinking that I'm like complaining, but I'm really not, because sometimes I feel like if I don't make fun of the crazy things that happen and of the messy life that we have, I'm going to go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
And it's so relatable. Like,
good.
Every mom gets it. You know, they're like, yes, I know that feeling. Yes. Strangle my husband. Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's probably the most relatable part. Yes. They can suck sometimes.
Yes,
but
they can.
Thank you.
Somebody told me that there's this book out there called How to Not Hate Your Husband After Having Kids. And I was like, I think I might need that.
Really? Well, I will hang up and go on Amazon right away. Especially after birth, I feel like I wanted to kill him. I wanted to kill him, you know, but now I think he understands some things and, you know, he walks on eggshells sometimes. I think all of them do. They just want to make us happy. That's what makes me feel so bad.
Right.
They do. We got to, I do feel bad sometimes. Maya, how do you say your last name?
It's Vorderstrasse.
Okay.
Yes.
I
yes.
said it right earlier, but I just wanted to make sure our listeners knew how to say your name. Okay.
Yeah, my maiden name was Duca, which was only 4 letters, and then I got married, and then that happened. But
that's quite the change.
Yeah, you can imagine my email.
Where are you originally from? Because you do kind of because you live in Jersey, right?
I do. I live in Jersey. I am from Brazil.
Oh, okay.
I moved from Brazil when I was 22. I came as an au pair, which is like a nanny that gets to go to school.
That's so cool.
Yeah. It was crazy. I graduated college. I didn't really know what to do, what to work with. I was just so lost like everyone else. And my dad was like, why don't you just try to, you know, do an exchange program? And 1 year turned into 1.5. And now I've been here for almost 7 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So cool.
Yeah, it prepared me for motherhood, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was good experience. You know, I was expecting, you know, to be just like Mary Poppins and just like figure it all out. But it was very, very difficult. But it was good. Everything happens for a reason. And that was certainly a very good thing that happened to me.
So you have 2 little girls.
I do.
What are their names?
Zoe and Hazel.
That's right.
Cute.
So cute.
Yeah.
And how old are they?
Zoe is 22 months and Hazel is 10.
10 months.
They're 11 months apart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of like your big, I guess, like story that was shared like on Instagram is that you have what's considered Irish twins.
Yes.
Which is so crazy.
It is insane.
How do you do it?
Honestly, my husband says that all the time. Like, how do you do it? I honestly don't know. I think it's just in us. I think your instinct just kicks in when you're at your most fragile, and when you really think that you can't do it. Somehow we have something in us women that you just make it happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was insane. When I found out that I was pregnant with my second daughter, my first one was, I got pregnant when my first one was 2 months. So it was an accident. A very happy accident, but it was definitely an accident.
Mine was too.
A cute accident.
Yeah.
Come on.
Best accident ever. Yeah.
Best. Yeah. You just, it is a shock.
Yes.
I think it's the shock when you first find out you're pregnant with your first. But when you have basically a newborn at home and you just play everything in your brain that what you just went through, you'll freak out.
Yeah.
So for the first week, I kind of like couldn't process. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell his family. We were just like, what the heck? I took 7 pregnancy tests because I'm like, there must be something, like, there is no way. But, after 1 week, what I did was I allowed myself to freak out, because that's not easy news to get. I was still trying to figure out how to be a mom. I was dealing with an extremely colicky baby who would not sleep ever. Oh, no. I was like, I'll give myself a few days or a week to freak out, and then I will try to figure this out. And then, I was praying and I said, God, I need you to help me. And I understood, inside of me that this kid was supposed to be born. This baby was supposed to exist. And I was like, you know what? I got pregnant. Now, Jesus, take the wheel and we'll figure it out. And, I was really overcome with peace. And once I understood that my baby had a purpose in life, I was like, we're going to wing it. We're going to make it happen. And I'm still alive, surprisingly. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. What did your husband think when you were like, guess what? I took a pregnancy test and it's positive, and then I took 6 more.
Actually, he bought, when he was on his way from work, I had one at home still from my first baby. And I called him at work. I said, I think I'm pregnant. There was like no way. And he was like, okay. I said, I cannot wait for you to get home. I needed to do that right away. So I waited with him on the phone, and I said, Tim, and silence from both of us, because he knew. After like 3 minutes, I heard, he was in the car. I heard, I don't curse, but he said, oh shit, that's what happened. Literally, that's what happened. I was like, get home right now. And I turned up the phone. And then, both of us were the same amount shocked. And then we figured it out, after both of us were okay. Yeah. Good thing was that we had all the baby gear we would ever need.
Yeah, no kidding.
Totally.
Yes. I had just gone through that. I would have everything for the new baby. And it was good because it was a girl. So I had everything. Clothes. We didn't have to buy anything.
That's amazing.
Awesome. And same season. So, that was really good timing. Yeah. But he definitely freaked out a little more than I did. So he needed a few more weeks to just, sink in. But then he was okay. He was fine.
So were your pregnancies like, because I know your body wasn't obviously fully healed since. Oh yeah. So were the pregnancies different on your body, or did it feel the same?
Super. With the first pregnancy, I gained about like 40 something pounds, and I was very bloated, and I was fainting all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was so weird. I would just pass out. So, the doctor said that the baby was on my nerve or on some vein on my back, like really down towards the end, and I would just pass out during the day. So yeah, that was kind of scary, but
that's
I would
so
always
scary.
Yeah, especially being your first, because you kind of like don't know anything.
Oh, 100%. Everything's scary.
It was terrifying. The first time I was like 4 months when that started happening, but I every time I ran to the emergency room, they would monitor me, and they're like, your baby's fine. Nothing happened. So it was just my body coping with pregnancy. Wow. And weirdly, I think, one of the things that I feel like, this was really supposed to happen is that I lost all of that baby weight within the first like 4 weeks.
Wow.
Which was really weird because I gained a lot. Yeah. And I just lost it. I lost everything. And then I found out I was pregnant. I feel like my body just reset, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, it completely reset. And for the second pregnancy, I gained 21 pounds.
Wow.
Probably from running around the first one all the time.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was just the best workout, but it definitely took a huge toll on my body. I got that crazy, what is the leg syndrome that happened? Like your leg just like gets out of control. Restless.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, the second pregnancy was definitely harder on my body. My sciatica was hurting all the time, and I had to pick up my daughter, all the time.
Yeah.
So it was very, very hard, but it worked out. I thank God I didn't gain more weight, because I feel like that would have been more challenging. But yeah, our bodies are really awesome.
They're really, really, really amazing.
And you breastfed with your first, right? I think I read till she was 6 months, right?
Yes.
What was it like breastfeeding and being pregnant? Is that crazy?
Oh my God. It was difficult, because I've known women who can breastfeed throughout pregnancy and then tandem nurse. But when I was about like 5.5 months pregnant, my milk started like drying out, and I didn't know what was happening. My daughter was always unhappy, always crying. So I took her to the pediatrician. He was like, I don't think she's getting enough milk. So that's when we switched over to formula. And I thought I was the worst mom on the planet. I thought I was stealing, her nourishment, because it was my fault that I was pregnant, and I didn't know the formula was as great. And my emotions were like all over the place. I felt awful. I felt judged by some people, but as soon as I saw that little girl chugging down that bottle, and she was so happy, but the thing I love the most about nursing is when like they grab your face and they're like so gentle and so sweet. And I was like, I'm gonna lose that, and I did. She kept doing the same thing, and she was even happier because she was like fed.
Right.
So that's when I had to switch over, and it was immediate. Like I stopped like the next day. I didn't do it again, and I didn't get any more milk.
Wow.
So thank God for formula.
Yeah.
My body coped that way. It just couldn't produce more. And, I wish I could go back in time and tell myself, calm down. Like, you're doing your best. It's not your fault.
Yes.
That's the first thing where your mind just, the guilt you feel is overwhelming.
I had the same thing, except for one of my boobs was producing and one wasn't. So she wasn't getting enough food. So I ended up making the transition to formula, and she was 100% like just so happy. She was, she chugs bottles now, is like not crying like she was. It's seriously, it's like, thank you for formula, but you wish you could, go back and tell yourself.
Yes.
It's like, hey, it's okay. This baby's going to be just as happy, you know?
But there's no way of knowing if you don't go through it.
Totally.
Yeah. You are, people are always going to say things, but you have to be confident enough in the hard work that you're doing. But when you see the baby gaining weight within like a week, like you feel so good about it.
Totally.
Like I should have started this earlier.
Totally. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I just remember there's that picture, which you look so beautiful in, where you're bottle feeding your oldest and you're breastfeeding your youngest.
Gorgeous.
I mean, girl, you have gone viral so many times. I just wanted to kind of talk about your Instagram. So you have, because you do these hilarious little like creative setups with you and your hubby and your kids and these message boards. How did that? So I want to know the very first one you did, and like what made, like what inspired you to do this exactly?
What happened was, we decided that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. So thank goodness that we were able to do that, because I really wanted to. But I was like, you know what? Let me take a shot at this whole Instagram thing. So in the beginning, I had like 800 followers, and I saw what the trends were, and like, the white background and the white walls and like the pretty like wicker basket. What? Okay, that was a small the baskets, and like I just wanted like that aesthetics for my Instagram, but I was always so unhappy, and I felt like I was lying to myself because my baby wouldn't sleep, and I was always so frustrated with myself and sometimes with my life, because I saw all these beautiful babies so peaceful, like on Instagram sleeping, and the moms always looking like put together, and they were beautiful, and I was a mess the entire time. I would sleep like 2 hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
My hair was like completely dirty. Sometimes I went 3 days without showering. And I was like, I am not doing this right. So one day, I mean, it was right after I found out that I was pregnant, a few weeks after. I was like, you know what? If I don't come to peace or come to terms with what my life is going to be from now on, I'm going to, first of all, live a lie, teach my kids that they are not supposed to be who they are because I'm trying to be someone else. And I'm just going to be unhappy. You know, I don't have an Instagrammable house, and, you know, it's beautiful when people have it, and I love, and I'm so inspired for their organization skills and all that, but it wasn't my reality. I wasn't there, you know? So I still follow those accounts. I became friends with those people, and I think they're super inspiring, and people show whatever they want to show. It's their page, you know? But I think that the problem was in me. So I was like, you know what, Tim, my sciatica was hurting so much. I was in so much pain. So the only thing I could do was put a bandana on my hair because I was crying that day. But I was happy because I was looking forward to the new baby. So I wrote a board. I had gotten a letter board for Christmas for my husband. And I wrote, I think, flaring sciatica, wild bladder, happy heart, something like that. And I was so scared to post something like that because you really couldn't see people posting like the real side of it, in a sense where like, it's okay to be in pain. You're still happy that you're pregnant.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
It is all right. And it was the first time that my post got like 2,000 likes and people started reposting. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was so scared. And, you know, of course there were a few comments that were like, well, I mean, hate, you know, on Instagram is a delicate thing, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep doing it because some people were messaging me and thanking me for it because they felt better about their lives. So I kept doing it, and then I kept doing it, and then people kept relating to it. And then like I started getting emails from like Cosmo, US Weekly, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And I just kept doing it. And, you know, it became this whole thing. And then 2 months later, after my baby was born, I did the whole Fat is Best post with both because I kept seeing people like messaging me saying how awful they were feeling that they had to stop breastfeeding or, you know, or having a second baby. They didn't know how to deal with all those things. So I was like, I'm going to make another post. And I made the Fat is Best, which went viral, which was a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because so many women felt better about that and they were messaging me, and I was so happy to have helped them even a little bit. When you judge yourself so much, you know, as a new mom, I know that every mom does this. So it was good to have helped a little bit, but it was bad because on some Facebook pages like 9gag or ABC News, which are not motherhood centered, all kinds of older men and all kinds of, you know, people that like to shame or like keyboard warriors, they decided that it was okay to tell me very, very nasty things. So that was really hard. It was the hard part, but I'm glad that happened because I've seen, you know, some people talk about it more after that happened. So I'm really glad I did it. I'm really, really glad. Even if it was hurtful sometimes, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be the center of all the like bad messages and hate, but you really are doing, I mean, that message itself, the Fed is best, which we kind of talk about on our podcast, is just such a powerful message because being a mom is already hard enough. So then to have this like pressure or stigma on how you feed your child.
Exactly.
And so it's just, I mean, it's something that needs to be talked about. So
exactly. Absolutely. We are all doing our best. We really, really are.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like, I do feel like there is like such a shift happening though, to people being more accepting of breastfeeding in public or bottle feeding or whatever it is that you have to do, you know? So like, we're thankful for people like you who put that stuff out there, you know? But that also brings us to, I mean, one thing that we really, really wanted to do with our podcast was to be non-mommy shaming, because you know, there's so many ways that you can do different things. Some people sleep train, some people don't. Some people breastfeed, some people don't. You know, some people vaccinate, some people don't. And they're all like such huge issues. But whatever we choose, like, we want to show compassion toward being a mother and, you know, trying to keep your child healthy. So how do you, I guess, since people do like look toward you, like, how do you deal, I guess, when people are shaming?
Yeah, I went through a lot with that when that second post went viral. My pregnancy reports got a lot of hate too, but I shook it off because, but since the Fat is Best post was like so close to my heart, it was a little bit hard for me. It took me a few weeks to like build up my confidence again. So I started getting messages from moms, saying that you don't really know what a tired mom is. Stop, messing up your hair to take pictures because that's not, you're just not doing it right. I have 8 children and you don't know what a tired mother is. You only have 2. Stop complaining.
Wow.
You're disgusting for having 2 kids so close together. If your second child has psychological problems, it will be your fault. Mental problems, it would be your fault. I'm like, whoa, hold on. So I was so sick of it because I work my butt off every day to make my children happy and to make my family happy and healthy, that I was like, this gotta stop. So I put my 2 kids down for a nap and I said, it's now or never. I am done receiving hate and I'm done being shamed for trying my best. So I made a board that said, stop mom shaming. And I was so nervous to post it, so nervous, because some people say mom shaming is not a thing. Stop making it a thing.
Oh my God,
it's a thing.
Exactly. Like, this is you are too sensitive. I was like, you know what? I'm not too sensitive, So I posted it and like immediately after the first hour, I had like 10,000 likes and like hundreds of people saying, I can't believe you just said that, because I go through the same thing where there's like a family member or a friend just like judging me and telling me that I'm not doing the right thing for my child, or that I'm harming my child. But really, switching to formula is not that bad. Co-sleeping is not that bad. And it's how I keep myself sane. And,
right.
I truly feel that after that post, things became much easier for me on this platform, which is, on Instagram. I think that even sometimes I think that mom shamers can be really aggressive and they can really come up to you in public and tell you something offensive. Like to me at the supermarket, like, wow, you're really brave. Like, how do you even think of having 2 kids together? That's so absurd. I'm like, get away from me. But it can, it can also like be a family member and like not realizing that they're doing it.
Right.
Older mothers, or like, an older aunt, or someone who, I don't know, who doesn't have much experience with children and think that they know better. I think that after that post, whoever follows me or who was, who read it or who came across it, is going to think twice before they're being so hard on a new mom.
Absolutely.
You're going through hormonal changes. You're going, sometimes you're a single mom who's having to do this by yourself. Sometimes your marriage changes so much that you're dealing with, maybe a possibility of a divorce and the new baby screaming in your face, but you're trying so hard. So maybe those people are going to think twice before they say something so hurtful, whether it was like, I don't know, 25,000 people who saw it, whether it's one person who saw it,
right.
I think every bit helps. And so many people started using the hashtag moms against mom shaming. It's spreading a word that I think is very, very important to keep new mothers sane and, try at least to avoid postpartum depression and anxiety and all those things.
Absolutely.
It's crazy because if you think about if everybody who wanted to say something negative turned around and said something positive, what we could do for the motherhood community by building each other up. Sometimes it just blows my mind that somebody would go to a stranger and type something or say something that they don't know, instead of just looking at that person and being like, gosh, I wonder what their day-to-day is like. It's probably so hard. They probably just need someone to reach out and say, like, I got you. Like, if you need anything, I got you.
Exactly.
Or
even not say anything.
Or
it's okay to not say anything.
Or totally. Right. Just go on with their day. You're right.
It makes such a difference when I have a mom brunch group that I go to.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I'm jealous.
I know. I want to go.
It's crazy. I met one of the girls walking on the street, and like all of a sudden, like we were having brunch together.
That's so cute.
It is fun because we have like children the same age, but it makes such a difference when one of them comes up to me or texts me and say, "Maya, I was thinking of you. Like, have a great day." Or we get there and they're like, "Oh, let me pick up your kids so you can eat." Or like, "You're doing so well. Like your kids look so cute. And it makes a difference. It makes you confident. It makes you braver. It makes you think that you can do it and that you're not alone.
Right.
You know? So that's what I fight for. And that's what I will always fight for, because we are so powerful, and we are more powerful when we're together as a community. So
absolutely,
that's the best thing.
Absolutely.
Earlier you said something about just like all the different things, like you never know what somebody's going through. Having two kids so close together, did that affect your marriage at all?
It did a lot. In the beginning, I've seen easier children than my children. My babies were very, very difficult, and they are wonderful, but they were extremely colicky for the first 3 months, exactly 3 months. And they didn't, and they don't sleep. So, in the beginning with my first, since she was very colicky and she wouldn't sleep, Tim and I were stressed all the time, because he was a new dad. He didn't know how to connect with the baby so much. Him and her, I'm not saying all dads, but him and her just were not connecting. And I completely switched the focus from my marriage to my child. I went from 0 to 100. Today I see that I completely left my husband aside, which was a mistake, but I didn't know better. So we were always stressed. We were always sleep deprived. And I always felt like I was doing everything and he wasn't doing anything. And I was very critical of him. So he coped with shutting down. He just wouldn't try harder, because everything he did was me criticizing, So when I got pregnant the second time, I was like, God, what is going to happen to us? So the pregnancy made me a little more peaceful. He was, calm too. And then the newborn stage hit us again. At one point it was so bad that we stopped fighting, because every time we would talk to each other, it would end up in fighting. So we were like, what's the point? So that's when I got scared, because I think that once you're fighting, you're still you still care, but
you're still communicating.
Exactly. Right. So we stopped fighting and we were not talking to each other. So one day I was like, this is it. What are we going to do? So we sat down. I put the kids down, hoping they wouldn't wake up, because we really needed to talk for a long time. We sat and I was like, Tim, you've got to talk. You have to tell me what is in your brain, because we're very different people. He's German. He's very serious and very put together. He doesn't talk about his feelings. And I'm Brazilian. I'm very vocal. And so he started crying. I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? So, he told me all the reasons why he was resenting me. And I told him all the reasons why I was resenting him. And it's funny, because he was like, I'm not trying to do that to you. And I was like, seriously? Because that's what it looks like. So we talked for about 3 hours. And, of course it wasn't overnight. Every day we talked a little more, but we decided to make it work for our children and for us, because we love each other. But it definitely takes a toll, because I feel like moms tend to, only care for the child, and husbands, they don't work that way. Men don't work that way. They still need a little bit of attention, and they still need to feel like they're important.
100%.
And that they're a priority, right?
Right.
That they are a priority. So I started paying attention more to that. I started, when he got home from work, I didn't throw a kid at him right away when he opened the door, I started giving him some time to use the restroom or have a snack or talk to me about his day, and make him feel like he's a person too, and not just my extra help.
Right.
So, every day we spend, even half an hour together after we put them to bed, and we talk or we argue, because that's normal, but we argue more than I want to say we do, but that's good. We talk things through, and we make each other feel important. And I think that's fundamental for your marriage to work after kids. Although I want to devote 100% of my time to my kids, I can't forget where they came from. And, one day they're going to leave my house, and I'm going to be left with my husband. And then what do we have to talk about? So it's very important to pay attention to your relationship.
And husbands are kids really too. Let's be honest.
They are. Oh my God. Oh my God. They compete for attention.
I know. It's crazy.
Yes.
Really do.
Oh yes.
But they are trying hard too. So we got to give them extra points.
Totally.
If you've previously listened to the show, you've heard us talk about FrameBridge. All of us have used it and absolutely love it. They make it so easy and affordable to custom frame your favorite things, from art prints or posters or whatever you want to get framed. You just go to framebridge.com, you upload your photo from your computer or even directly off your Instagram, and let them know that you want to get it printed. Or if you have a physical item, you can send it in and it's a prepaid package and you mail it in for free. When I used FrameBridge, I knew what size I wanted the photo and what I wanted to print out. So I sent it to them, but I had no idea what kind of frame to get. And I just let the designers there choose for me, and it came out amazing.
Yeah. Tanner and I right now are currently working on a project. We're doing a gallery wall by our piano. And so I'm using pictures from our wedding and pictures of when Emerson are born, and we're doing them all in black and white. And FrameBridge is taking care of it, and I know it's just going to turn out so cool. I can't wait to see them.
Oh, I can't wait to see it too. If you want to get started framing your photos or art today, go to framebridge.com and use promo code BABES, and you'll save an additional 15% off of your first order. So go to framebridge.com, promo code BABES. Again, that's framebridge.com, promo code BABES.
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 I just want to say thank you, Maya, for being like so open and talking about your family and your marriage, because
Of course. Thank you.
my husband and I go through the same things where he feels like I don't make him a priority a lot of the times because I'm not giving him that attention he used to get. And it's just so nice to hear from someone else, because what you're doing, making your marriage a priority, is just amazing, and it makes me want to step up my game. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is a daily battle, but
it makes me realize how human my husband is, you know, and how hard it is for them as well. So
exactly, that's why it's so important to talk to other women, because we may never know, you know, that other people go through, and we feel so alone with those issues. Your life changes so drastically after you become a mom that you're just winging it. But it's really nice to see that other people go through it too. It makes us love them even more.
I know,
it's very true.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you too about your picture that you posted after you had your second baby. That's Hazel, right?
Oh, yes, it's Hazel. Yeah.
When you had that picture of you're holding your daughter in the hospital bed and you have your fist up in the air. Because that, I mean, after that, I saw, which is an amazing, powerful picture. But so many women were doing the same thing. And I think it's just such a cool message to just be like, I am an all-powerful female being. I just created life. What made you do that picture?
What happened was I had a very difficult first delivery. I was induced on my due date because the doctor was like working his schedule. He was like, I can't deliver you, you know, whenever. So I'd rather schedule it, which was like a punch in the gut. And I don't feel like that was, you know, nice, but I didn't know better. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So I was induced, but my epidural didn't work.
Oh, no.
So yeah, the thing is like, I would be fine if I had to be induced, you know, but the thing is the contractions from the induction are much more painful, I think.
Oh, they're so bad.
They are kind of barbaric, and my epidural would not work. I don't know if it was me.
Crazy.
So I thought I was going to die. Like I like kept going like in and out. I don't know how they didn't do a C-section on me, like honest to God. And like my face was blood. Like I was sweating blood. It was like the craziest thing. So
oh my God.
My eyes were like bloodshot, and my skin, there was like blood was coming out of my pores from the pain. Yeah. And my mom was in the room too. So you guys can imagine, she was like,
oh my God.
She was screaming in Portuguese, "Give her a C-section, please."
Oh my God.
And my husband like, shut up. It was like so traumatic, like everywhere. And I'm like, it wasn't like that for my second delivery. So I was very scarred, and I was so afraid of going through the same thing the second time. That the second time I went into labor on her due date, and she was out after one push.
What?
And the epidural worked. I know. With the other one, I pushed for 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
With the new one, I felt nothing. The epidural worked amazingly.
Epidural is the best thing ever
it
created.
Is honestly,
unless it doesn't work, then that's really bad.
Yep, then it's nothing. I was so, imagine a bummer, you know. I was like, can you hit me up in there? I kept pushing the button, and they were like, Maya, that's not gonna make it work. You know, I was like, just drug me for the love of God. But for the second one, I felt like it was a blissful experience. And the doctor was like, do you mind pushing like once? And I'm like, yeah, I pushed once. And I was like, what's going on? He was like, this is your baby. I'm like, oh my God. It was insane. So I felt so powerful, and I could not believe that birth can also be so empowering. And I felt like a boss for the first time in my life.
That's awesome.
And I didn't know what kind of picture to take with the baby. So Tim was like, well, how are you feeling? I was like, I feel so powerful. And I was like, I was like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. And I kept fist bumping the sky or the ceiling. And he was like, hold it. And I just went like this. I was like, thank you, God. And that was a picture. That was my moment of like, I was feeling powerful and then great and thankful and just really happy and probably high on epidural. But
I mean,
it was a good feeling.
So
like now though, after explaining your first labor and everything, like it makes sense how scared you were when you found out you were pregnant with the second time. Because like after, and especially since you like literally just went through that just happened like a couple months ago, and now you're pregnant again, I would be terrified. It was very, very, very terrifying. I even chose another hospital for the second time around. I think that made a difference. But it was very, very traumatizing and kind of sad to see. Like I had a birth plan planned out the first time, and I got there and I gave it to them, and they were like, oh, that's okay. Like we're going to just follow hospital protocol. So I feel like a bunch of stuff was done, you know. They disregarded me completely, which makes me so sad for so many other women who go through the same thing and kind of like come out of it very scarred. You know, but the second time was perfect. The doctor was like, we're not going to weigh the baby. Just do skin to skin first. Take your time. This is your moment. So, you know, how the hospital experience can dictate kind of like even how your postpartum is going to be. So that's how I felt so powerful and so thankful. You know, one delivery was so hard, but one was very, very, very easy. So that's where the picture came from. And a bunch of other people are doing it. And, you know, in the beginning, I was like, oh my goodness, like I felt like it was such my moment and other people were like reproducing it. But today I understand how empowering it is, and it is an empowering movement. So today I've come to terms with it.
It's so amazing. You have just created like such a dialogue for moms to talk about the things that we should be talking about, and kind of all just joining hands. And you just created so many trends on Instagram, which is also just so cool.
It's so weird because it's very weird. I don't know. It is weird to me, but I'm just gonna keep being myself. Of course, there's pressure, you know, to like keep getting better or keep being funny. And sometimes I'm not funny.
Right. But there is always pressure to be funny. I hate that. I'm like, I can't be funny when you want me to be funny. It's like,
exactly.
I hate that so much.
It is the worst. People are expecting you to just like, I'm not like that all day.
Right.
I mean, I'm not like that in the morning, especially,
no.
You know, before coffee and stuff. Like, no. But so, you know, you have to, with having two kids, especially so close together, when in the beginning, for example, when they would cry together, instead of me like completely losing my marbles, I laughed because it was such a bizarre situation. My mom left, my husband left, and I was like, there are two screaming children. And I literally was,
oh my gosh. That's
and
so
they're
funny.
crying for different reasons. I mean, the oldest one was crying because she wanted to be carried. The little one was crying because she was colicky. And I was always on a bouncing ball, an exercise ball because of the colic, the little one's colic. And I was on that ball for like 6-7 hours a day. Sometimes I would put my other daughter on my other leg and just bounce for hours watching bubble guppies, like, and that was my life. And I would laugh because it's like, I'm gonna lose my mind if I don't laugh.
Right.
You know, one day this will pass and I will miss this phase.
Man, that is such a positive way to look at life. Like the fact that you can do that is unbelievable. Because most people would just absolutely break down and be staring at both of them going, how do I go through this next minute, you know?
Yes, I did that a few times. But in the beginning, I think I got into it with the right mindset. But then, of course, there were days where both were throwing tantrums. I mean, my youngest is 10 months old. She started throwing tantrums at like 7 months. And I'm not even kidding. She knew what she was doing.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
They're
and
smart.
then the oldest one, they copy each other.
Yeah.
They copy each other in the cute things, and they copy each other when they're both trying to drive me crazy.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Which, you know, sometimes it's kind of cute,
will never change.
No, it will only get worse. For sure. You know, but yeah. But you just take a breath. Oh, they are totally, you know, but sometimes I've had to like exit the room and leave them crying for a few minutes. I've gone to my room and shut the door, made sure they were safe, and left, because your mind you get completely overwhelmed. You're only one person. And like one was teething and the other one was going through a sleep regression, and both wanted to be on me.
Oh,
so,
gosh.
You know, some days was a little bit challenging, and, you know, but we're here at a much better place right now. You can do it. Everyone can do it. If I did it and didn't go crazy, everyone can do it.
Yes.
No, absolutely.
You tell the world.
One thing we want to know too is like, who are you outside of being a mom?
Right. I can't remember. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's hard to remember that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hard. I've always been like this. I feel I was always, you know, I've always loved taking pictures. I went to school for advertising. I love being creative. I love making music. That's what I love and who I am. And now I'm trying to adapt those things and try to find time for myself for those things after being a mom, which is not easy, not only because there is not enough time, I feel, but also because I feel so guilty when I leave them to literally go grab a coffee by myself, or I feel guilty when I leave. Like my husband is right now at the playground with them and they're having a blast, and I'm over here like I'm missing out, or I am not there, or what if something happens where I'm, you know, but this is me investing time in myself.
Right.
So it's a very delicate field. But in the beginning, once I looked in the mirror and I was like, who is that person? I didn't recognize myself. You know, you completely forget who you are. And that's a very dangerous transition, because you can either like learn how to balance, or if you don't, you just have like really bad anxiety, I feel, which is what I do have.
Yeah.
It is really hard to balance, and I'm still trying to figure it out. You know, it's a daily battle. It's a daily struggle to make time for yourself. But sometimes my husband brings me a tray of like supermarket sushi and say, go into the bedroom.
Yes.
And I eat it, you know, and he watches TV with the kids, or he does something with the kids, and just having like, you know, 15 minutes to regroup and kind of like think, even pay attention to your emotions so you can process like, you know, your tiredness or process sadness or process happiness, just to pay attention to yourself. But it is very, very hard. I'm not gonna lie, this is the hardest thing that I struggle with, forgetting who I am and paying attention to myself. But I guess one day I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's hard for Jade and I say the same thing. It's like you have to give yourself self-love, but it is hard because then you do feel guilt about that. But, you know, but you shouldn't, because you have to fill yourself up in order to be able to give to your children.
Exactly.
You know, so you
really
just have to really find that balance, even though it's the hardest thing to find. I mean, I'm saying that as a super new mom.
No,
but, you know, but I'm, you know, I struggle with it already. And I'm like, if I don't figure this out now, then I don't want it to, you know, be 2 years down the road and me being like, I don't know who I am. Who am I?
Exactly.
I used to have an identity, and now my identity is you know?
Yes, because it becomes them. You devote yourself completely to them.
Right.
So I don't really know what steps you should take, but I do feel like you and your husband have to be, or your partner have to be on the same page, because you can kind of sense when the other one needs a break. You know, sometimes I feel like I see my husband's expression like blank. Like there's no life in his eyes. And I'm like, I was like, okay, I have nothing left, but I can push through. And I'm like, why don't you go like do something? Like go grab a coffee, go take a nap, or go do something, because if I have a little bit of energy left, like I will use it to make him feel better. And then he gives it back to me.
Right.
You know, it's a, you know, a give and take thing. That's why it's important being on the same page.
Yeah.
You can really feel when the other one is just absolutely done.
Right.
And, you know,
and we've talked about like on this podcast a couple times about like seasons. Like this is just,
exactly.
I mean, a season in our lives. And if we can get through this like newborn, like younger years stage, like I feel like then once you're kind of out of those trenches, I feel like you have more time to devote to yourself too.
Yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So
exactly.
we kind of just need to give ourselves that grace.
Right.
This is an amazing stage where our babies need us so much, but it's such a, well, like we were talking earlier, I will miss it when Emerson doesn't wake up in the middle of the night and need me, you know?
Exactly. They don't need you anymore. That is very true. And like when they go to school, for example, when they start going to school, like that's why it's important figuring out who we are as mothers and women now, because then they're gonna go to school and then what? I'm probably gonna sit here and cry for the first week. Like after that, like what? You know, they're not gonna need you for everything. You know, they can. My youngest is learning how to eat by herself, and that's honestly, it sounds so silly, but it's a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
You know, like I complain that I'm not, that, oh my gosh, I have to feed both at the same time. And then she's eating by herself. I'm like, she doesn't need me anymore. Why is she doing this to me? You know, it's such a crazy thing, but it's so wonderful because that's how you see how much love you have to give. And, you know, one thing that I never understood until I have kids was like, happiness is really only real when shared. And because you share that love and you share that happiness and your heart only grows and they're a part of you and you're a part of them and your love just grows. So for everyone who like is listening to this, like who is pregnant or planning on getting pregnant right away, or even thinking of having a second child, yes, it will be difficult, but it is, I'll give you hope right now because you are going to make it work. I promise. You know, people cope differently. Babies are completely different. You might have a very easy second child, but you might have a harder second child.
Right.
But it is doable. You know, it's totally 100% doable. Just pay attention to yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and one thing you said a couple times, like when you talked about the first letterboard post you made or the best fed or the no mommy shaming, you said, I was so scared to post it. I was so like nervous to post it. But you did, and we just want to thank you for speaking your truth and putting that out there and just relating to women. And thank you so much for coming on here today.
Yeah,
and,
thank you so much.
Just being real with us.
Of course. It's my pleasure. And, you know, sometimes I'm always scared of like being judged for, this is really my reality. And I talk about it and I'm not coming up with those things. They really do happen. And the community that has been created is wonderful, and I'm really thankful and humbled by it. I don't really think that, you know, my truth is everyone's truth, but I'm doing my best, and I'm really thankful for the support that all these other wonderful women who also have accounts or who just interact with me every day, all the support that they give me is, you know, has helped me get through it, you know. So thank you guys so much. All of you.
Where can our listeners, if they want to follow you, where can they find you, Maya?
Okay, so I have my Instagram. It's Maya Vorderstrasse. And yeah, that's my main platform. And that's where I post, you know, my stories. I have a blog too, Once Upon a Letterboard, which I talk about. Sometimes it's another platform to like talk about those issues, but in a more, you know, a broad way and just like talk more about them. So I have the blog Once Upon a Letterboard, and my Instagram handle is Maya Vorderstrasse. And yes, that's where you can find me.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I'm super excited about it. Thank you. You can't imagine how happy I am. And you guys are awesome, and you're doing so great, and your children are wonderful. And Liz, the message you always, you know, the encouragement that you give to so many women is also very incredible. And I'm very thankful for the three of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks. You're so sweet.
Thank you. Have a wonderful Sunday.
Bye.
Yeah,
you
too.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Well, she is just like super inspirational.
She is the cutest.
She's so cute. Her accent is also so cute. But I love how she has just started so many conversations for women through pictures on Instagram. That is nuts.
and funny ones, like taking
So
what's
funny.
the hardest struggles of motherhood and making them relatable, but yet like making them light and making you like laugh and being able to be like, oh my God, I'm not the only one.
Yes.
And we're getting through it together.
Yeah. And
she's just totally like embraced it.
Yeah.
All.
And I love too how she's just like, oh, I'll just give this Instagram thing a try. And then she came at it not in like a way of, oh, I want more followers. Oh, I want to do this. She was like, I really need to tell my truth. And then And then she did, and it created this whole big thing, and it's so cool because she came at it from the way that you should. Like going on The Bachelor to find love, you know? Like, why don't we do that instead of look for followers? Like, she came at it, and she was like, I want to tell people my truth. And then the followers came. That's like good world karma.
Yeah.
I love her. And she's just so positive. She's like,
I do too.
Like, I laugh through the pain. I laugh through my 2 kids screaming because what else are you going to do? Man, that's a really great way to go through life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wanted to tell her, like, I love you, but I'm like, you're a stranger and that might be weird. But
she probably gets that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
No, I'm so glad that we had her on. She's
a delight.
Awesome. Yes, very much.
Delightful.
I do want to say one thing before we end this episode, but I know I've had so many people on the Facebook group reach out and say they want to have us talk more about miscarriage and loss, and we are getting those guests lined up, you guys. So we are listening to you, and we hear what you're saying, and we know what's important that you want to hear. So stay tuned because I'm trying to get a psychologist on that. Her specialty is miscarriage and loss and the grief and how to cope. So we are wanting to touch on those topics.
Yeah, we also know like it's such like an important topic that we just want to make sure that we get the right people on for you guys. So it is coming. It's in the works.
Yes, we are listening to you guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and speaking of our Facebook page, guys, we have an Instagram now. Go follow our Instagram because we're also going to be doing a giveaway on there, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So, it's Babes and Babies. Pretty easy to find.
I'd say.
Isn't it at Babes and Babies Podcast?
Yeah, Babes and Babies Podcast. But if you type in Babes and Babies, it's going to pop up.
Oh, okay.
When I first went to create it was like this. It like wouldn't let me do it because it was like it sounded like a sexual podcast or a sexual like Instagram, so they like flagged it and wouldn't let me name it that at first. But then it let me create it. So
I'll say if you go to some Facebook pages when people are trying to find us, there are some Babes and Babies groups that are very sexual. So
don't go to those.
We didn't realize that there was a fetish for babes and babies.
That's really gross, you guys.
It is really gross. I don't understand.
But, well, thanks for listening, guys. And don't forget to head to our Facebook group and our Instagram page where we're going to be posting more information. We're going to let you know where to find all of our guests out and continue these conversations.
And if you guys are loving the podcast, please go and subscribe and rate us 5 stars. You guys, we appreciate it more than you know. So,
and also remember that you're doing great. You know, you really are. You are enough.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you're going crazy, listen, you're probably doing it right because we're already crazy. All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.